PodPond podcast. So, today I want to talk about basically the SJWs and the media and politicians, all that. I've kind of come to this conclusion that SJWs aren't really the issue. Not really. I believe they've always been around. You've always had these people that protest everything. They throw a fit, they stand out there with their signs, and they were usually pretty much just a small group of them. So I think the real problem today is the media, which is it's a hard one to do because you can't really regulate the media. You don't want to regulate the media. That'll never end up good. So, what's the answer? What do you do? And the politicians, while they're part of the problem, really they're just doing whatever they think is popular. And they're going to think what's popular based on what the media reports. So as long as the media keeps reporting all this crazy stuff that all these SJWs protest, and now you can't have movies a certain way, protesting comics, it's getting absolutely ridiculous. If anyone watched that newest Dave Chappelle, Sticks and Stones, I believe it was called, it was pretty funny. I thought it was. I didn't have any problem with it. And here they are throwing an absolute complete fit about it, trying to get it taken off, saying he's insensitive, all that kind of stuff, which, it's Dave Chappelle. I really don't think he'll care what they have to say, which just makes it even funnier. But it's just hilarious, like Rotten Tomatoes. They let their critics do it and gave it like a 0%. Then once it opened up to the public, it was sitting at like a high 90, like 98% approval rate. Like, it just shows you how out of touch they are. But I honestly believe the media is the biggest problem. Now, and like I said, you don't want to regulate it. Not really. Because that can just get misused really bad. So the only solution I've kind of come up with is, now you picture you got like the doctors, they have the Hippocratic Oath, lawyers have the bar. Something like that where you take an oath. Police officers have to take an oath and agree to follow it. So maybe we need to do that with journalists. Maybe journalists need to take some kind of oath once they graduate school and they get approved to be, and you have some kind of board. And if they end up getting caught misreporting things, like truly, like they're really just putting out fake news, and it can be proven, they could then get pulled in front of a bar or, like some kind of board, and they could literally lose their journalist license. I could see this maybe going bad, but it's the only solution I can really think to come up with. The only way I could really come up with to kind of regulate it. And you could still have people that aren't journalists, but they would have to really, announce that they're just opinion-based people. But if you're going to be on a news network or news channel, or you want to classify yourself as actual news, you would have to have and take this oath and be held responsible for your actions. And I'm talking like they could be fined. They could lose their license forever to ever call themselves a journalist again. So far, that's the only solution I can come up with. And again, I could really see how that could be misused too. So I'm kind of curious to think see what you guys would have to think. Leave comments below. Let me know what you're thinking, and do you think my idea could work? Or do you just see it going horribly wrong? Which I agree there's a possibility of that. If not, what solutions would you have? How do you hold journalists accountable? How do you make it so they can't just falsely report on things blatantly, knowingly do it? They don't, not fact-checking anything before they report on it. Like the kid in the MAGA hat was a perfect example. That was a bad situation, and nobody fact-checked anything. Nobody watched the full video. They just reported on it like this kid was guilty of a crime. And I wouldn't say it ruined the kid's life, but it definitely didn't make anything better for him. I'm pretty sure he'll recover from everything, and, 10 years down the road, no one will even remember who he is. But it still, it should have never happened. And it could have been bad. It could have been worse. What if the wrong crazy person would have lived by him or known where he was? It could have really went wrong. So there has to be some accountability for this. And you can just see it. I mean, they're trying to sue, a lot of the news networks. This kid is, and some lawyer who's doing it absolutely, completely for free, which is awesome. But they're probably not going to win. I really doubt it. Or the medias will just hold him up in court for years and years and years. So I'm just a little curious. What do you guys think of my solution of having some type of journalist oath that they're held accountable to? Or what ideas do you guys have? How do we regulate the media without, hurting the First Amendment? How do we hold people accountable? Well, go ahead and leave the comments below and let me know what you guys are thinking. Thanks.